This is The Wire for 2300 Zulu, March 19th, 2025. Precedence is routine. Information cutoff is 2200. Bottom line up front. Judicial activism continues in Washington. JFK document release continues. Unrest in Turkey following arrest of political opposition. Beginning with international events. In the Middle East, the various wars continue as before. American bombing continues in Yemen. Israeli bombing continues in Gaza. In Turkey, significant developments on the political front have resulted in economic turmoil. Over the weekend, Turkish forces arrested Ekrem İmamoğlu, the mayor of Istanbul. İmamoğlu was Erdogan's primary political opponent and was expected to be named as the official candidate running against Erdogan in the upcoming election. Around 100 other political opponents of varying levels of importance were also arrested. Analysts comment, how this will work out is anyone's guess, though this is hardly a surprising development for Turkish politics. Despite Turkey being a NATO member, these types of electoral shenanigans happen rather blatantly every few years, and often result in an economic downturn due to the instability of the situation. On the home front in Washington, D.C., many highly controversial and politically unsavory actions continue among the judiciary. Yesterday, another D.C. district judge seems to have banned Executive Order 14183, which prevents mentally unwell individuals from serving in the military, such as transgender individuals. Analysts comment, it would seem as though the era of more openly weaponizing the judiciary for political purposes has become a main vector for opposing President Trump's policies. No judge has the authority to dictate what the commander-in-chief can do with the U.S. Armed Forces, full stop. Likewise, no judge has the authority to tell illegals to remain in the United States illegally, as that power was explicitly not granted to the judiciary by the Constitution. Nevertheless, these efforts continue tiresomely and are leading to an erosion of the entire judicial branch of government, for which the judiciary themselves are solely to blame. Analyst comments for this wire. Following the release of the JFK files last night, multiple details must be noted as newcomers to the investigation begin to observe some things for the first time. Not only is a grand case of expectation management called for, but many people in our modern time make the assumption that the initial investigation into the JFK assassination simply wasn't conducted, or that the people investigating at the time were completely clueless as to what happened. This is not so. Many exceptionally damning details of the investigation have been public since the very early years. There is no one report that will state X did it with any trustworthiness. However, there are a lot of one-off random documents and details that very strongly indicate that this wasn't just a simple assassination. By digging into these new documents, a lot of people are figuring out why the JFK assassination is so famously suspicious. Now, instead of someone thinking those JFK conspiracy theorists are stupid, a fresh focus on the old documents from that time may persuade someone to think, hey, that conspiracy dude actually has a point, this is really sketchy. As of right now, that's probably the most to come out of these documents. Almost all of the documents that have been released so far have already been released. As such, many exceptionally interesting documents have been found in the latest release that have long been in the public eye for anyone who wanted them. This is going to result in a lot of social media pages touting new documents implicating this person or that group, documents which have been public since the early days. Another detail to remember is that, while alternative media is often preferable to mainstream media, this does not automatically make everyone with a Twitter account a highly trained investigative journalist. For instance, one document circulated social media immediately after the docs were released. This document focused on Gary Underhill and that he was afraid for his life because of his knowledge of CIA assassination teams. However, this document is not official testimony or any kind of smoking gun whatsoever. Reading is hard for some, so whoever first posted this document clearly did not read it. The subject and header of this secret memo clearly state that this is an excerpt from Ramparts magazine, which was included for the record. This specific document buried in the JFK files does not confirm anything, it's merely a copy of something that was written in a public magazine that investigators might want to make a note of. But overall, this secret report did not confirm the actual information contained within the article as implied or openly stated by many social media accounts. Same story with the pages that implicate Joe Biden. These documents aren't really a smoking gun either, and while very interesting, they have been in the public eye since the late 1960s. Consequently, many of the documents that have been released are simply interviews, a person's testimony. While helpful for investigative work, it's not a definitive picture, nor is it the truth in some cases. Most rather interesting documents have remained redacted, poorly scanned to the point of not being legible, or incomplete. Perhaps the only thing of note that has originated from the JFK file disclosure is that many documents openly state that the CIA would prefer to redact all references to the Israeli intelligence service. This is once again not surprising in the slightest, but a fairly common point of focus for those new to the JFK investigation. This concludes The Wire for 2300 Zulu, March 19th, 2025.